नमस्कार। हम प्रोफेसर
जी
डॉक्टर
जी।
नागेंद्र नारायण आज फिर लेके आ गई है मगही पाठशाला। विश्व मगही परिषद नई दिल्ली के द्वारा संचालित और मगध न्यूज चैनल के तत्वावधान में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मगही चौपाल के 143वां और 140वां एपिसोड जो है 144वां एपिसोड जो है सिर्फ और सिर्फ अंग्रेजी भाषा इंग्लिश भाषा ला समर्पित है। तो हम बतावल चाहिए कि सीबीएसई बोर्ड में 10वीं बोर्ड और 12वीं बोर्ड के एग्जाम में अंग्रेजी के जो विषय है जो इंग्लिश के विषय है ई बच्चा सब हमर जे युवा हाथी लोग वो जो 10वीं और 12वीं के बोर्ड के जो एग्जाम देती ओकरा में अधिक से अधिक अंक कैसे लावल जाए एकरा बारे में आज हमने के बीच में उपस्थित हथिन डॉक्टर बालेंदु कुमार बम्बम जी गया बिहार जिला से उपस्थित हथिन। और हम बतावल चाहिए कि आदरणीय डॉक्टर बालेंदु कुमार बम्बम जी मगही कोकिल और विश्व के जानल मानल साहित्यकार आदरणीय जयराम सिंह जी के ज्येष्ठ पुत्र हथिन और अपने के इंग्लिश के प्राध्यापक हथिन डीएवी कैंट एरिया कॉलेज गया में। और कई साल से अपने के साहित्यिक क्षेत्र में शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में इनका अबल प्रदर्शन रहला ही है। और ये अपने के मगध विश्वविद्यालय और इलाहाबाद विश्वविद्यालय से अपना शिक्षा प्राप्त कैले हथिन और काफी सम्मेलन में अपने के काफी उपलब्धि पुस्तक प्रकाशन में साहित्यिक यात्रा में हाल फिलहाल में ही 8 दिसंबर के हमने सब लोग पुण्यतिथि भी मनैलिए हल जयराम बाबू के मगही कोकिल स्मृति शेष जयराम सिंह जी के। तो वहां भी अपने के वजीरगंज में काफी अच्छा इनका योगदान रहल है। तो आज हमने के बीच में हथिन जे एक्सपर्ट हथिन हमार आज मुख्य अतिथि हथिन डॉक्टर बालेंदु कुमार बम्बम जी गया जिला से। और हम अपने के विश्व मगही परिषद नई दिल्ली और मगध न्यूज चैनल के तरफ से अपने के बहुत बहुत आभार और स्वागत करिए और बतावल चाहिए कि मगही पाठशाला के यही उद्देश्य है कि हमार बीच में जो बच्चन है ओकरा अधिक से अधिक पढ़ाई अपना जो भी विषय है अभी तक हिंदी के संस्कृत के और मगही भाषा जो बिहार इंटरमीडिएट में है ओकरा बारे में हमने के एक्सपर्ट आके अपन अपन व्याख्यान और विचार दिलती है। और आज अपने मतलब चौथा एक्सपर्ट हथिन जे अंग्रेजी इंग्लिश के बारे में बतथिन। तो हम अपने के बहुत बहुत स्वागत कराइए और निहोरा करल चाहिए कि अपने आथिन और अपना बताथिन अपना एक्सपर्टीज बताथिन कि बच्चा सब अंग्रेजी के कैसे तैयारी करल जाए। हम एक और दर्शक के बतावल चाहिए कि आज जे बालेंदु जी हथी वो 10वीं बोर्ड के बच्चा सब कैसे तैयारी करे वो अपने के बारे में स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान के बारे में बता थी और रणनीति बता थी कि कैसे बच्चा सब पढ़े ताकि अच्छा से अंक करे। कल अपने के यानी कि 14 तारीख के फिर 12वीं बोर्ड के बारे में भी बताते हैं। तो हम अपने के निहोरा कराइए और अपने के लावल चाहिए निहोरा कर के कि अपने आथिन और बताथिन कि अंग्रेजी की तैयारी बच्चा कैसे करे। आदरणीय डॉक्टर बालेंदु कुमार बम्बम जी स्वागत है सर।
Firstly, I would like to ask whether the medium of my expression would be English or Maghi or bilingual, both of the.
both sir, both कोई दिक्कत ना है।
So firstly, let me express in English.
Yes.
It would be better. It would be better to make them understand.
बिल्कुल सर।
First of all, whatever I have experienced, because I have been also appointed the head examiner of the CBSE, and I have been evaluating the copies for last 15 years.
Okay,
so
great,
I have had a very long experience of evaluation of the copies, and sir. I have found that so many students, those who know quite well, but hardly they express their answers in a very proper way. It happens sometimes not with the very average student, rather with the very good students. They don't know how to manage. They don't know how to manage, how to express those things particularly in a proper way. So first of
Mm-hmm.
all, they should learn how to present their ideas and views in such a way which is really presentable and scoring. So firstly, in the very reading section, because it has been divided into three parts. First of all, it
G.
is the reading section. Second one is uh, grammar plus writing. Writing plus grammar, both of them are in one. And the
Right, sir.
third is literature.
Okay.
In the reading section,
So,
most of the students I
sir, you are saying that there are three component. There are three part of the
uh,
evaluation
categories, yes, it has divided into
syllabus.
three parts. Uh,
Okay. So
the question
initially,
paper
whole
has been
syllabus.
divided into three parts. First of all,
Okay.
it is reading section.
Reading. Right.
Second,
Okay.
second is writing plus grammar,
Okay.
and third is literature.
Third is literature.
Literature.
Okay. Right.
So,
So what about the
firstly,
components
in
of
the
the
reading
marking?
section,
Uh-huh. G, please.
yes, the first of all, it is the reading section, and in reading section, I have found that all of a sudden, because the government has also, it is the scheme of CBSE. CBSE
Right.
has given 15 minutes to read the question. They become
Okay.
so nervous at the time of
Mm-hmm.
examination that
Hmm.
hardly they read the question quite well, and they only really fear, they only suffer from such type of phobia, whatever it is really found among the students. So firstly, they should really drop this very thing, whatever the fearlessness in the mind. They should not be very much nervous at the time of examination. If they if they would be very very fearful, certainly the paper cannot be as good as they have thought. So it would be better for them to manage it very properly. Let them really cope up with the very stress what they have at the time of examination. And when they read the question, reading section, they should
Hmm.
read twice, thrice that very question, so that they may understand the contents of the reading sections quite well. Unless until they understand the reading section, how will they really answer? How will they write their answer in a very proper way? So it is my suggestion to them that firstly read the passage or the paraphrases quite
Hmm.
well, and some of the vocabularies, especially the words which are
Hmm.
bombastic one. Sometimes it happens that some of the words are not really so common.
Hmm.
So that should be left, and whatever the idea come before the sentences, before that very word, and after that very word, I can think that they can assume, expect what the
Okay.
meaning may be there out of those words. So it is not really the thing that all the words which really come in the reading section they should know and they know. Sometimes it happens with the very good, really, what to speak of the learners and the students. Even the teachers
Right.
and professors, they don't know the very exact meaning of those words. But in spite
Hmm.
of that, they try their best to assume or expect that whatever really the very context of that very particular words, and in that very context they really come out of that very word meaning. So they should also really come out of that very meaning. So it should be left at last, but firstly they should also read the question before reading the uh, reading section. it is
Okay.
it is my suggestion that first of all they should come to the questions, and it
Okay.
would be quite helpful to them. The moment they will read the question,
Hmm.
ideas will come at that very time, at the time of reading the reading section,
Okay.
and it will help them. It will help them a lot. Second thing, some of the answers may be very vague, hazy.
Okay. Hmm.
Maybe that it is not so understandable to them, that they are not understanding the very language or the usage, whatever really the especially the thing which has been written. Sometimes they get difficulty in understanding the passage. So in that very context, they should write more than two or three lines if they are not understanding the actual meaning of those lines, and if the question is asked from that very passage, it is suggested in the marking scheme too, which is given to us by the CBSE, that they are given this privilege. The students are given such type of privilege that if they write 2 3 lines, suppose that you have to give the answer in 1 line and you are not able to give the answer in 1 line or 2 lines, you may just write more than 2 3 lines and marks will be given to the students. Marks will not be deducted.
Answer should be
Uh,
appropriate, right?
Answer should be appropriate. And if the
Okay.
answer is not very appropriate one, even then, I am telling
Hmm.
that even your answer is not appropriate, you can also choose 1 or 2 lines and support that very answer. In that very context, we shall find out the really appropriate answer out of that, and we shall award the marks to the students. As it is really the written in this very scheme, marking a scheme by the CBSE, one provision has been given that their
Right.
English is not up to standard. If they don't have very good vocabularies, you should really award the marks if they write more than 2 or 3 sentences. So
Okay.
they are given this very privilege. So this is also, I think, that very helpful to them, and they should
Hmm.
not get very nervous at the time of answering those questions.
Right.
Second one is vocabulary. Regarding the vocabulary, some of the questions are asked which are based on the vocabulary, 1 or 2 answers.
Ji.
So they will have to enhance their vocabulary, because in that very regard, the exact meaning is required, needed. And
Okay.
if the exact meaning is not coming to really the mind of the students, so it will be little damaging to the students if they don't know the actual meaning of those words. So
Hmm.
they must enhance the vocabulary with the course of really the time. I think that if they are the students of class 10, they might have also really developed such type of vocabulary up to this very time. So
Hmm.
it is required and it is also expected from the students of class 10. So it
Okay.
is the reading section. It is the reading section. Let me come to grammar. As
Ji.
grammar has been reduced, and as we all know that in CBSE, there is less emphasis on grammar.
Okay.
We were very much accustomed to and we used to read translation and grammar both from the very beginning of our classes.
Hmm.
And when the really this mode has been finished, now just we have to also change ourselves that in which way we should really score good marks, because whatever the thing or syllabus we have, out of that syllabus we have to do better. So it
Ji.
would be better for the students that if they really any sample paper, if they take any sample paper which is authentic, which
Hmm.
is not substandard, and some of the things are also given on net too. NCRT app is also available. So they must know all the things which are given on the app and on the sample paper. If they really practice, if they do practice on the basis of any sample paper, and if any able teacher really
Hmm.
watches, observes,
Hmm.
and rectifies the mistakes committed by the students, I think that it would be helpful if they make more than 10 exercises or 10 samples of English, particularly. I think that it would be very, very helpful to them.
Right.
So there is no any shortcut way to get the marks. They will
Hmm.
have to do hard labor for this. And as far as English is concerned, in one night or overnight, you cannot do anything else. So it is also a
Practice.
process of learning. It
Yeah.
is also a process of learning and doing all these things. And practice makes a man perfect. Writing also makes a man perfect. I
Exact.
think that both
Ah.
of the things would be taken from the very beginning. It is not that if any student thinks that before the examination we shall read 2 or 3 days or 5 days before the examination, and we shall appear in the examination of English or any subject. I think that they are not taking it very seriously. And one
Right.
thing it is also seen that most of the students are also, I have found, it is my own opinion, or I opine that
Ji.
they should develop the very habit of learning. Must really inculcate the habit of reading the books. They
Hmm.
don't inculcate the very habit of learning the other books or reference books. Their really
Okay.
their knowledge is becoming very much, and it is
Hmm.
narrowing too much. And if it will be really the knowledge will be narrowed too much, I think that there is no any scope of blossoming that very flower in a very proper way. So
Hmm.
certainly they should develop such type of habit of reading the book. And for writing especially, they should write every time, every day, at least
Hmm.
5 or 6 pages
Hmm.
extemporally, whether they know any content or not, whatever the idea it comes to them or not, they should start to write anything else. And the moment they will start to write, the ideas will come spontaneously.
Okay.
Say that. uh, if any
Right, sir.
question also really just the student has, or anybody has, or if you sir also raise any question, it would be better to reply to or answer to.
Right. Okay. So, can you give, see, you have already stated that there are three components in CBSE 10th board, right? So,
Hmm.
can you give some example regarding the reading after going through some example, so that a student, and how a student will can write the particular answer, right, sir? So,
Hmm.
I think there is some paragraph, right? And a student will
Hmm.
go through paragraph, and there are I think 2 to 3 type of questions, fill up the blanks, short answer type of question, right? And some
Hmm.
matching type of thing also, sir.
pattern Pattern is really the little changed, but I think that
Okay.
the students who will read the very traditional grammar, or those who have learnt it, so
Okay,
how
so
to
can you,
change into
yeah,
uh,
so can you
how
give
to.
some examples, sir? If you have example of reading, how a student will can, how a student will go through the particular paragraph, and how a students will try to attempt to on the particular questions to answer. Can you
Hmm.
elaborate, sir, something
Yes,
if
yes.
you have some
I think
example?
that
Yes.
first, firstly, when they read whatever the
Hmm.
text it is given to
Hmm.
them,
Right.
they must go through the text thoroughly.
Okay.
Whatever really the text they have in the books, I don't
Hmm.
think that it is very Herculean task to go through the text. It is
Hmm. Hmm.
very easy to go
Right.
through, because all of them are very interesting fictions and very short poems in the literature, especially. Apart from all
Right.
these things, in the reading section, in the reading
Hmm.
section, some of the really the examples, some of the things, they should go through any sample paper if they have, and if they don't have, they have really the papers, English papers, whatever the English papers they read. So many questions may be raised upon that.
Hmm.
So, firstly, that understanding, how to develop the understanding, the
Right, sir.
reading section requires this. And read all those things, underlining those difficult words, that what type of these difficult words are there. We should also note down those difficult words and know the very meaning of those difficult words, because English
Okay.
is such a language, without knowing the words you cannot express anything else and know anything else.
Ah,
So
yeah, you are
you
right,
will
sir.
have to you will have to
Ji.
develop it at any cost. Secondly, your grammar is also really up to that very standard, so that your tense must be very clarified. There shouldn't be any
Okay.
sort of there shouldn't be any sort of really any type of difficulties in expressing and just writing anything related to the tenses. So the concept of the tense, syntax, right use of preposition, and
Hmm.
all these things require practice. Without doing practice, you cannot enhance and you cannot just have such type of good marks. So it is
Right,
not
sir.
that yes. Hmm.
Uh, if you have some material regarding the reading, sir, so can you give after going through the particular questions how a student will attempt? Just for the instance or example, you have reading
Suppose
material.
verbally I tell you
Okay, okay,
that for
okay.
the reading section,
Right,
for
sir.
the
Right.
reading section, for the
Mm-hmm.
reading section, they
Right.
should go through and they should read magazines,
Mm-hmm.
papers, anything else, even their
Mm-hmm.
textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
And if they really go through all these things, they must have a lot of really good collection of the words. And if these
Mm-hmm.
words would be with them and they know the meaning of those words, certainly they will do better in the reading section. And secondly,
Okay.
if
Uh-huh.
you don't have time, suppose that examination is quite near, then what to do?
Okay.
Now
Hmm.
it is very, very difficult to read the text and to do all these things. So it is
Hmm.
my humble suggestion to the students that at least 10 to 20 sample, because in sample paper reading section and reading materials comprehensions are also given there. So
Hmm.
why don't you go through those sample papers, especially the reading section, and do all those things quite well in a very better
Hmm.
way? And after doing 10 or 20, you will inculcate your idea yourself that
Hmm.
you can do better in the reading section. Without doing the practice, there is no any capsule teaching which I can give you and just tomorrow you will do better in the examination. So you will have
Okay.
to do the practice, taking anything, whether it is the app or the sample paper, whatsoever it may be. But there must be also a teacher of English there to
Hmm.
just see all those things and rectify their mistakes if they commit mistakes.
Okay.
Mm.
Right,
Now,
sir.
sir, let us come to grammar.
Yeah.
Grammar, especially uh,
G.
in grammar. In grammar, they have to read tenses, narration, voice,
Hmm.
if, and almost all the things, modals too. I think that a good package of grammar it is given to class 10, because in CBSE, if the student have gone through and really made all these things up to class 10 quite well, I don't think that they will have any sort of problem in the future too. So especially they should start tenses. A structure tenses must be based on the structures. It is very easy to understand tenses based on a structure. If I say that subject plus V1 oblique V5 plus object, it is the simple present. Now the time has gone. traditionally we have been taught कि जिसके अंत में जिस क्रिया के अंत में ता ती ते हैं. Now the time has gone to understand through this very method. It would be better to understand the tenses through the structures. And I have experimented,
Hmm.
and I have also really got such type of experience that whenever I started this very thing on a very beginner learner, within 6 or 7 days, they developed their ideas, they developed their understandings, and they knew what I taught them. So
Okay.
it is not difficult. The tenses must be learnt on the basis of a structure.
Hmm.
And with the tenses, another thing may be also done
Hmm.
simultaneously, and that is
Hmm.
voice.
Hmm.
Suppose that if I write here subject plus V1 oblique V5 plus object as Ram writes a story.
Hmm.
And the passive form of it, this is also based on a structure. That very passive too, not only the tenses.
Hmm.
Passive is also based on the structure, and it would be very, very easy or easier
Hmm.
for them to understand or to make them understand in such a way.
Hmm.
Subject plus is oblique am oblique are
Hmm.
plus V3. Subject plus is oblique am oblique are plus V3 plus by
Hmm.
plus dot dot. As
Okay.
Ram writes a story, then the passive form of this very sentence would be a story is written by Ram. How
Okay.
really easy, how it is easy to learn these two things, tenses and passive form, at the same time on
Hmm.
the basis of a structure.
Hmm.
So if they practice like this, I think that within no time they will understand both of the things, tense and passive form, simultaneously. Very easy method. Very easy method to understand.
Sir, so
Another,
whatever the structure you are stating in the particular statement, S plus B and some other examples. So can you give some
hmm,
little bit example also so that a student can understand?
I give the
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Firstly,
Yeah.
firstly, I have given one example based on simple present.
Right.
Subject plus subject plus V1 oblique V5 plus object. It is the
Okay.
structure of tense. Simple
So
present.
yeah, you are talking about V1. V1 means V1, V2, V3, three form of the verb, right?
V1
Okay.
means
Okay.
V1 means go. V5 goes.
Uh-huh.
As V1, let me tell you also that from V1 to
Go went
V5,
gone, no, sir.
I tell you,
Go went gone.
uh, it is the
V1,
present,
V2,
past,
V3.
and past participle.
Go went
It is
gone.
the this is the really present, past, and past participle.
Okay, okay, okay,
So,
right, right.
uh, the V1 is go,
Hmm.
V2 is went, V3 is gone, and V4 is going, and V5 is goes. So it is very easy to understand all these things.
Okay.
V1 is go,
Hmm.
V2
Hmm.
is went, V3 is gone, and V4
Hmm.
is going, and V5, last V5 goes.
Hmm.
GOES.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so it
Right.
is
Right.
really
Right.
the five types of the things used with verbs.
Okay.
So second one is present continuous. Subject plus is oblique am oblique are plus object. And the structure
Hmm.
of the passive, subject plus is oblique am oblique are plus being, BEING, plus
Hmm.
V3 plus by.
Hmm.
As
Hmm.
example, Ram is writing a story. A story is being written by Ram. A story is being written by Ram. It is the present progressive or present continuous. Third one is present perfect. Subject plus have oblique has plus V3 plus object. Ram has written a story. The structure of passive will be sub, subject plus have oblique has, subject plus has oblique have plus V3. Has, have, I am telling the structure of passive. Subject
Hmm.
plus has oblique have plus been, B double EN.
B
In
double E
present,
N.
in present
Okay.
continuous being and present perfect being, B double
Okay.
EN.
Okay.
Hmm.
Acha.
So subject plus has oblique have plus been plus V3 plus by plus dot dot.
Hmm.
A story has been written by Ram.
Okay.
A story has been written by Ram. And there is no
Ram.
any, and there is no passive of present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous.
Hmm.
So there are only eight forms of passive which can be really, which is really given to the students.
Okay.
Present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, and future perfect continuous. All these continuous, perfect continuous tenses are not
Hmm.
converted into passive form. And
Right.
in future only two. One is
Hmm.
simple future and another is future perfect.
Hmm.
There is also no really future imperfect or future progressive which can
Hmm.
be converted into passive. So there are
Hmm.
only
Right.
eight forms of passive. There are only eight forms which can be converted into passive forms. So it is very easy. It depends on the teacher in which way they make them understand very clearly, and it also depends on the students if they
Hmm.
uh, very attentively learn it and do the practice. It is very,
Right.
very handy and catchy. They can
Okay.
understand it quite well. So
Right.
just I gave uh, examples of these things. So likewise, so many things are in narration too. Narration is little difficult.
Narration is
Narration is
difficult.
little difficult and much more difficult than these things. But the moment any student learns tense and passive form, those students will learn narration very easily and
Hmm.
within no time. I think that within a week, the students will learn it. And I have
Okay.
also experimented because student classroom is a laboratory, especially for the teachers,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
we always really do such type of the things, experiments in the class, and we find when we find the very positive result, we
Hmm.
become so really happy. We cannot express. We teachers cannot express in words how happy we become at that time.
Right.
So they should also really emphasize and focus particularly on grammar and their practice too. They
Hmm.
should not ignore it. Nowadays, students are not paying attention to all these things, and that's why they tell us English is very difficult. English is very difficult. I don't think that English is very difficult. It gives a lot of fun as you speak Hindi,
Hmm.
Maghi, other languages,
Hmm.
regional languages. I think that
Ji.
English may be spoken or can be spoken very, very easily by the students too. Another
Yeah.
thing is, Ji,
Basically,
if
that.
any question, please.
No, no. I am just adding the thing. Basically, nowadays, uh, young generation is not focusing on writing the things. They are just collecting the particular thing. Okay, but
Hmm.
see, exam is in written form, right? There is no viva, na? Written.
No.
So
Right.
practice is very important. Reading is very important. Writing is
Hmm.
very important.
Hmm.
Understanding is very important. Okay.
This is
So yeah, yeah.
That's why
So
it is really the formula SRW, whatever it was the thing. Reading,
hmm,
listening, reading, writing, all these things really very, very much. Though that particularly student, I have also seen if they are not paying attention to the studies,
hmm,
uh, it is my own really habit. I don't
hmm,
really touch at that very student at that moment, but later on
hmm,
I try to get the feedback from that very student who was not paying attention.
hmm,
And
hmm,
when
hmm,
that very student feels a little hesitant in speaking anything else, then
hmm,
I ask that what type of embarrassment now you feel and you are
hmm,
hesitant to speak anything else. The moment if you could have listened to me, then
hmm.
such type of condition could not have come to you.
Absolutely right,
So,
sir.
so if they pay little attention to the teachers, nothing is
Hmm,
really difficult. If they want to learn something, then
hmm.
so
Yes.
I think that this very practice of grammar, practice of writing the composition, whether it is
Hmm,
article, whether it is report writing, whether it is a
hmm,
speech, debate, all these things. are really required, especially in class 10.
Hmm.
They have to write paraphrase. They haven't to write so many things. They have to write
Hmm.
a story or paraphrase. And if they really just jottle down all those things, if they connect all the ideas, if they try themselves how to express them in a very good paragraph, which is
Hmm.
coherent and interlinked, ideas should be there, and ideas should be in such a way that it really gives a good effect on the readers. And if the examiner will read it, certainly the examiner will award very good marks. But they should start how to write. If they don't know how to write the sentences, how can we expect that they will write a paragraph? So it also needs a practice. Without practicing all these things, they
Without
cannot
practice,
do better.
sir, there is very universal statement. Without
Ji.
money, without money, no one can do nothing,
Uh-huh.
or without money, nothing can be done. Like similarly, we can say that
Mhm.
without practice, no one can succeed.
No, no one can succeed.
Yes.
And
So there is no
there is no any
there is
shortcut way
there,
to the success. Uh,
exactly, there is no shortcut for the success. So if anyone want to be,
uh, there.
achieve the zenith position, I mean zenith position means good marks or good achievement or good rank in any competitive examination, right? So that people, that aspirants must go through rigorously, go through the syllabus first, okay, and complete any
Mhm.
one book first. Nowadays also
Yeah, yeah.
problem, someone will go, for example, you are saying about the reading, right sir? Reading grammar part, and third one is
Hmm. Hmm.
what?
Third
What
one
about
is
the third one?
literature.
Third one is
Literature,
literature.
literature.
We are just talking
Hmm.
about the literature. Literature includes poetry, right, and a story.
Fiction and poetry. Fiction and poetry.
Right. So poetry, a student will go through. When I was a student and you are a student, we have memorized the complete poetry, either Hindi
Mm.
or Sanskrit or English. Okay.
Hey.
Then if anyone can memorize the particular poetry or go through the a story again and again, then that student will understand the important structure of the story and poetry. And when there is
Mhm.
you know the time of writing the particular answer, and if any question belongs to or related with that particular story and poetry, then a student will write
Mhm.
in the free way, like a story writing.
Mhm.
This is my personal
Definitely.
observation. Ji, please sir, please.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes, I was telling about literature too because it is
Ji.
untouched. I have not come
Right.
upon that. Uh,
Yeah.
so literature. Firstly, I should really take it also in notice that those students, especially those weaker students, weaker
Ah.
than the other, I am going to them at first. Those
Hmm.
students who don't understand the lecture of the teacher at that very
Okay.
time, at that very time, they should not think themselves that something is really lacking in them. Nothing. Every day
Hmm.
you should try to listen to the teacher very attentively, and one day you
Yes.
will also understand. You will also know how whatever the things he or she is telling. I have
Right,
also
sir.
really found that those students who are very very weak in their particularly in English, they are
Hmm.
not able to understand whatever we are teaching in the class or the teacher is teaching in the class. That
Hmm.
student also really did quite well and better in the examination by dint of their rigorous practice and regular practice.
Right.
So first of all, it is only really the practice, and another thing is curiosity. If you have curiosity to learn, if you want to learn something else, you can
Hmm.
certainly achieve that thing. The moment you think or leave all these things that we have enough time, we shall do it later on, then certainly it is not good.
Okay, so
In
there is, sir,
literature,
डॉक्टर साहब, आई वांट टू ऐड ऑन समथिंग. आप बोल रहे हैं ना कि बाद में कर लेंगे, सो देयर इज ए वर्ड फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग, टाल मटोल करने वाला, लाइक
uh,
प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन.
procrastination.
Procrastination.
They are
There is a word,
they are
procrastination.
the really procrastinator. These very
Yes,
they are the wonder. Some of the
procrastination.
students are wonderful procrastinators.
यस, यस, यस. कर लेंगे जी,
हाँ,
आज कर लेंगे जी, कल कर लेंगे जी. सो
वो
आई थिंक या प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन
कामचोर
मस्ट बी वर्ड.
कामचोर जिसको कह सकते हैं, टाल मटोल करने वाला कामचोर टाइप का जो this this procrastination is not good. uh,
अच्छा,
one
some
must
comment
have
is
this
coming.
very fire.
जी, some comment
One
is
must have
coming.
really fire in the very heart. I have to
Right.
learn. I have to achieve. If
Hmm.
such type of the curiosity is not within you, you cannot learn
Hmm.
anything else. So
Yes.
in literature, it also depends on the teachers that in which way he is or she is taking the very students in which way. Because nowadays you see what is happening in the
Hmm.
government school and in some of the private schools too. So
Hmm.
the teachers, the standard of the teacher is being deteriorated day after day. Similar
Right.
is the condition with the students too. But
Okay.
what but whatever really the scenario and whatever the situation we have to
Hmm.
just take all the things what can we just take out from the teachers, because the teachers know 100 times or 1,000 times far better than you people. Then why don't you think yourself that
Hmm.
he or she is my acharya, and acharya devo bhava, when you take this very thing very clearly and very wholeheartedly, why don't you surrender yourself to the feet of the teacher? This is also
Right.
one of the things that nowadays the students are not so much disciplined. They are
Okay.
lacking moral. They are lacking moral qualities. They are very far away from their sanskars. What to
Hmm.
do and what not to do. Certainly, they don't know at all, and their language has become so rotten. They have become so abusive in the expression, especially whether it is Hindi or Maghi or the other
Hmm.
languages. This also, so even English too. They have developed a trend among themselves to abuse even their friends too. Such type of slang words, colloquial things, absurdities, irrelevant things, when they discuss in the class, certainly they lack all these things. Don't have a really good sense within themselves. So I think that apart from apart from all these discussions, we should also come to this very discussion that they should develop such type of moralities. They should develop such type of inner qualities within themselves, human qualities within themselves, old values within themselves, so that they can spread the fragrance of being very good student. If they don't really respect their teachers, their elders, their parents, such type of thing cannot come to their mind and the heart. As we have also read that very thing in Sanskrit, Abhivadan Silasya Nityam Vridhopsevinah
Hmm.
Chatvari Tasya Vardhante Ayur Vidya
आयुर्विद्या,
Yasho
यस.
Balam.
बिल्कुल सही.
Ah, ah.
You are
So
right, sir.
they are cutting, they are just developing a chasm. And same is the condition with the teachers too. Only for money
Hmm.
making, they are doing their works. They don't develop such type of rapport with the students. So it is not that the situation has been worsened only due to the students. Rather, we
Hmm.
teachers have also devalued ourselves, demoralized ourselves, and we are not really thinking for the betterment of the students what we should think. And there are so
Right,
many
sir.
factors regarding this. I don't think that almost all the teachers are like this. But if some
No,
of
no,
the
no.
teachers become like this,
There
it is very damaging to the students
exceptional thing
too.
is everywhere. Exceptional thing is
everywhere.
everywhere, but
Mm,
according to me, the responsibility of the teacher is much more to
mm,
develop the capacity building in the students, in the capacity building in the younger teacher, and
mm,
as a teacher or as a faculty or as a professor, our role is much more important, much more
mm,
valuable to strengthen
mm,
the society at large scale. Reason is that,
mm,
yeah, the general people, all people have the responsibility, but we are we are the teacher, we are the nation builder, we are the society builder.
mm,
So our
mm,
responsibility is
mm,
more, our shoulders have more responsibility in
mm,
comparison to the other. Sir, we are just taking some comments are
mm,
coming. uh, Lalit Laliteshwar Prasad Sahi ji, praying. I mean, he just
mm.
greeting to you. And
But
one more comment
चलिए.
is coming. Maghi Bhajan, valuable tips for students. Whatever you are
हम्म,
sharing now, मगही भजन से आपको कमेंट कर रहे हैं डॉक्टर शिवेंद्र नारायण सिंह, फोटो से हम पहचान रहे हैं। ये अपने के
अच्छा.
हिशुआ हिशुआ नवादा से
जी जी
अपने के
जी.
कमेंट कर।
भेंट है, भेंट है. हाँ.
जी जी जी। और अपने के बहुत बहुत आभार डॉक्टर शिवेंद्र नारायण सिंह जी, वेरी रिनॉन्ड इकोनॉमिस्ट एज वेल एज great साहित्यकार of the Navada district,
हम्म.
hails
Renowned,
from
renowned
actually
scholar.
hails
Yes. हम्म.
he hails from Nalanda district, near
अच्छा.
to
हाँ
Nalanda
हाँ
University, but
हाँ.
presently settled in Hishua. Thank you very much,
हम्म.
Professor Dr. Shivendra Narayan Singh. He's asking some question. Focus your talk on some tips for appearing students who have less than 2 months in appearing examination. Yeah, right.
Yes, yes.
He is asking
We
that
were,
a student have less time. So how a
of course,
student will
of course,
prepare? Yeah.
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were,
Very
we
good
were
question.
talking,
Yeah, very
sir.
good question,
We were
Professor Dr.
talking,
Surendra Narayan. Ji, please.
we were
Hmm.
talking upon that very thing. But apart from that, I just told you that. Let me also tell you that in which way they have been deteriorating so much. What are the really the
Right.
things? Let
Ha,
us
ha,
come
ha.
upon that. Yes, literature, especially literature.
Right, sir.
If
So,
some
Dr.
of the
Saab,
key.
before explaining about the literature, right? You have
Uh,
already said that there are three components of the
mhm,
10th board CBSE board syllabus, right? First one is reading, and second one is that is grammar part, right? So, can you
mhm.
tell me what about the marks that reading sections, and what about the marks that contains in the grammar part, and what about the literature part? Out of 100, no?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Out of
yeah.
100 marks,
80.
what about the bifurcation of the marks in reading section part 1, grammar part 2,
Mhm,
and literature part 3, so that a student will
mhm.
aware about also.
Oh.
Hmm.
Firstly, let me tell you about literature. Then we shall come to that at last.
Right,
So,
sir.
literature. Firstly, though, two really books are here. First
Two
Flight
books.
and Footprints Without Feet. In
First
the
one is.
first flight and Footprints Without Feet.
Okay, right.
Oh, oh.
Right, sir.
So, in the first flight, we have also seen we have also seen that certainly some of the things,
Hmm.
especially the fiction and poems, very small
Hmm.
poems are there, and
Hmm.
fictions are also written in such a way that it is so
Hmm.
comprehensive, and they can understand it very easily. It is not difficult.
Right.
Almost all really the fictions and the poems. The
Hmm.
moment if they are reading the poems, they should go through almost all really the things as the figure of a speech, which we call in
Hmm.
Hindi alankar, the
Right.
rhyming scheme of the poem, the
Okay.
significance of the title of the poem.
Right.
If really they uh, disseminate all the things quite well, if they also understand the key objective of the poem or any fiction, I think that certainly they will come to that very point. When they read the
Hmm.
chapter, they don't know what is really what the things are lacking,
Okay.
what the things really should be added to that. As I think that most of the students are here, and I think that they are also connected with this too. But I feel hardly they pay attention to just note down the figures of a speech at the time of teaching. And if
Hmm.
they collect all these figures of a speech and go through chapter wise, they can
Hmm.
score very good marks, because the questions
Okay.
also come based on the figures of a speech, literary devices from the
Hmm.
poem section, poetry section.
Right, sir.
So they should pay attention to that. And
Hmm.
later one, after just doing that, they should summarize the poem. It is my really, I think that it is quite helpful. The
Okay.
moment he or she reads the poem, he or she should try his or her best to summarize the poem in their own words.
Okay.
They should not develop this very satiricism or the rote learning method. It is not good. Some of the
Hmm.
things, rote learning is also very essential for some of the things. But
Hmm.
especially when you develop your concept about the chapter, you
Hmm.
should try your best to write in your own words.
Okay.
And still, we have time here. Whatever the
Hmm.
question or answer it is written, or you have got, either whether it is available on the net or in the sample paper, or your teacher has dictated that you have written on your own, better to go through that answer twice, thrice, or more than twice, thrice, 5 times, even 10 times. Read the answer of that very particular question in such a way that
Hmm.
most of the content may be imbibed.
Okay.
And when you will imbibe those things, contents, you
Hmm.
will be very certainly lucky enough, fortunate enough to cross 90% marks. Content must
Okay.
be there. Content must be there in your mind. And if you have, suppose that you are forgetting the things, you have your own language, write in the very lucid language, simple
Hmm.
language. Don't
Right.
try to make it figurative.
Hmm.
If you are expressing your language very simply,
Hmm.
very lucidly, very vividly, I think that examiner will be compelled to award marks, and he will
Okay.
not deduct your marks.
Right.
So it is my experience that some of the students, those who have written very good answers, although some of the errors are there, grammatical errors are there, but we don't pay attention to those grammatical errors because their answers are their own.
Hmm.
They have not imitated or just memorized the answers from the other sources. So on that
Okay.
very particular situation, particularly on those really situations, we award the marks to the students. But there must be clarity in the answer. There must be
Right.
a flow.
Hmm.
Whatever the appropriateness of the answer is required, that must be really told, or that must be really presented or written in that very particular answer. So
Hmm.
it is expected at least. Another
So,
thing is that,
my question is here. Uh, there is two part, poetry and story part, right, sir? So,
um,
what type of question will come in poetry, and what are the typology of the questions in story also?
yeah, yeah,
That is a
they
story
will have
based
to,
directly, right?
uh, they will have,
So,
they will have to prepare for the extract too, because extracts are also asked. Some of the excerpts or extracts. So they will have to go through the lines of the poems or the fiction quite well, because 3 or 4 questions it is really focused on asking the extracts. They have also the short answer questions. And in short answer questions, they will have to just show themselves their ability to write their answer within the limitation of the words. They should not exceed the limitation of the words. Otherwise, there is the danger, particularly for the student. Certainly, at that time, the examiner will deduct the marks if they exceed much more than expected. 5 to 10 words really we leave, but if they exceed the answers, their limit of the words much more than 30 or 40 words, at that time, just we deduct the marks too. Another one, apart from the really word limitation, we should also come to another thing which is very, very essential. They should write their answers systematically. When they start writing from one to the last, unsystematically they write. Why
Okay.
don't you try? Why don't you write the answers very systematically from one to the last questions?
Sequence from one to the last question, right?
One to the yeah, yeah. Those
Yeah, right.
questions, those questions which are difficult to you, you can
Mm-hmm.
leave at that very time. Later on, you can write, but a
Hmm.
space must be really left there. And another
Yes.
thing I have also seen in the copies of the toppers, when they write their answers, they also mark the answer with one line, and that is the
Hmm.
sketch line. Is a sketch line is also really given after finishing one answer, and it really gives a very good look, good
Hmm.
impression. And another thing is also I would like to add, their really writing should be also beautiful. Most of the students write in such type of really the thing that sometimes we
Hmm.
feel that whether it is really sometimes I also tell in the very class, it is better to write it is better to write particularly whatever the writing just we have got,
Hmm.
this very that very script which is found in the Sindhu Ghati, Indus Valley
Indus Valley
civilization, what type of
civilization.
a script it is written. So it is a
Indus Valley
scribbling.
civilization. Hmm.
Indus Valley civilization, whatever the script is found, the same
Hmm.
type of a script is also found in the very answers of the students. It is very, very eligible. It cannot be read. It is
Right.
so vague. It is so really written badly that we cannot read the answers in some of the copies. At
Okay.
least if you don't write very beautifully, the words must be very clear, and the examiner must really read the things whatever you have written. It is expected at least from you. And the last thing I would also really like to tell you, that
Hmm.
they write and rewrite, they cut. This is very bad thing. Rewriting of the answer and the words also gives very bad
Bad
impression.
impression. Okay,
Very bad
right.
impression. So in totality, I find that
Hmm.
almost all the things, whatever it is in your mind, write. Don't cross the word limitation. Don't
Hmm.
rewrite. Don't write irrelevant things. Write your answers very systematically. And if you are not understanding the answers, anything else, something if you have in your mind the contents, why don't you write those things? Don't really leave any question unturned.
Hmm.
You have to attempt
Right.
almost all the questions. Certainly,
Hmm.
the examiner will award the marks, but try your best to write almost all the things within words
Hmm.
and within all the frame which is really drawn by the CBSE, and you know quite well what are those things. But within 1 hour, how can we tell all the things very clearly? Whatever I
Hmm.
tried my best to just recollect in my mind, what to deliver
Hmm.
to the students, I tried my best to deliver all these things, and it
Hmm.
depends on the student to do practice more and more for getting very good marks.
That's good, sir. Absolutely right. So, very good suggestion you have given to all students. We are hoping that your suggestion and whatever you have suggested to the students, whoever watching or will watch this particular recorded YouTube video later on, all students will go through attentively, and we are hoping that after, if you have adopted this type of steps as given by Dr. Balendu Kumar Bambamji, very expert faculty teacher in English subject. And now I would like to welcome Dr. Sivendra Narayan Singh ji also. He has joined from Hisua. Now I would like to
Mm.
invite you to give few words about the expert talk of Dr. Balendu Kumar Bambam ji.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Bambam for delivering such a useful lecture, for delivering such a useful tips for the students appearing in the 10th or 12th board exam. Really, his tips will be a source of information as well as course of action for the students. One thing I would like to mention politely to Mr. Bambam,
Mm.
you should think that the students have only 2 months, even more, less than 2 months,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, in,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, appearing their exams. So,
Mhm.
in the next lecture, you should focus on their. No, you should focus
Tips.
uh, in the tips on in such a way that they can how they can do better in these 2 months.
Mhm.
They
Okay.
have not enough time. You have already given a talk
Mm.
for regular preparation of the students.
Mhm.
Right, sir.
But our motto is the motto of this Pathsala is
Mhm.
that how they can improve their marking for getting tips like a senior experience or learned teacher like you.
Right.
Mhm.
So, so I would like to suggest you, or not suggest, but I would like to
No,
request
no,
you uh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
that
You,
in the
you.
next lecture,
Uh,
you should prepare yourself for delivering such a lecture, such a tips for the students who have only less than 2 months in appearing their exams. Uh,
mm.
your deliberation is very simple, very lucid, and actually, um,
Mhm.
you have just given such a path to the students for regular preparation, for
Right.
continuous preparation from first day of the class to the appearing in the exam. How they can better,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
our motto is that in this period, which is so limited, which is less than 2 months, so how
Hmm.
we can help him to improve their marking in
Yeah.
preparing for exam to so that they can get so that they can receive more and more marks, but I've heard their preparation is. We don't know how they are preparing, how they are ready to appear in the exam. We don't know. But
Mhm.
we want that by your experience, by your learned subject expertise, they should get some tips to how so that they can they can
Okay.
receive
Right.
higher and higher marks in the exam.
Mhm.
That is
Hmm.
why I am requesting you
Thank you.
to very much to give such a tips to the students appearing in the 10th and 12th exams, that so that they can receive, they can get higher and higher marks in less than 2 months preparation.
Right.
Hmm.
जी
Uh,
तो
cer-
Once
cer-
again, okay, okay, go on,
Certainly,
go
I
on.
will take all these things. I will take
Hmm.
all these things very seriously, and
Uh-huh.
it
right.
would be marks oriented.
Yes.
Another really
Okay.
thing, whatever it will deliver, that would be
Right.
Okay.
marks oriented really deliverance. So
Yes, yes.
certainly,
Okay, okay,
I am
okay.
very grateful to you and Professor Nagendra Narayan sir, particularly
Ah,
for this very thing that he has provided me such type of platform, and
Yes,
whatever
yes.
really I could deliver to my really capacity, I
There,
think
yeah,
that
yeah.
something would be
yes.
really added to this. Something
No,
will be
no.
added, and your
Uh,
suggestion is, yes, sir.
no,
Yeah.
no. You have guided the students fully as a teacher. Not only in such a short period, but you have given them, you have delivered such lecture which will be useful for them who
Mm.
have enough time, who have
Right.
whole session, whole year of their preparation. So
Yeah, yeah.
you have succeeded in that motto.
Uh-huh.
You have
Right.
fully succeeded in that motto. Nothing to worry.
Uh-huh.
And
Then,
we
next
not only
next time
I.
I will give next time I will give the capsule teaching.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes, 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 yes,
Uh,
yes.
So next day,
Huh.
I mean,
Oh,
tomorrow, sir, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Tomorrow, 7 p.m., na?
to
7
tomorrow
p.m.
7 p.m.
Okay.
Ah,
7
okay.
p.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah,
Ah,
already mentioned
oh,
in the poster,
Chalo.
13, 14, and
Okay.
143 and 144 episode is exclusively for English literature, English subject. Okay,
Mhm.
so thank you, Professor Dr. Shivendra Narayan Singh from Hishwa, and thank you, Dr. Balindu Bambamji, expert of today talk and our chief guest for today's session, Maghi Patshala,
Mhm.
result-oriented course for English language, English subject. So I want to in the last, you will just say a few words to motivate the aspirants of 10th board of CBSE. Dr. Balenduji, you will
Once again, sir.
just say a few words, motivational few words for the
Motivation.
aspirants
Uh,
of 10. Yeah,
one,
chal
one,
rahi,
I
chal
one,
would
rahi.
I
one,
would
one,
like to.
1 minute, 1 minute, one. You should you just invite the students for capsule yeah, for today's class. Just that's all,
Uh,
nothing else.
Just
You
few,
invite
yeah,
the
chal
it
rahi.
students.
would it would yes, yes. It would be better that they should do practice, and as I suggested that they should
Mhm.
Hmm.
also do the practice from any authentic sample papers.
Mhm.
Right.
Whatever the sample papers are available in the market, if those sample papers are authentic or
Hmm.
which are really uploaded on NCRT app, NCRT
Right.
specially, they
Hmm.
should
Hmm.
try their best to do practice. And the teacher, any teacher must be there to go through all those things, whatever it is written by the students, so that their mistakes may be rectified quite well.
Right.
And another thing that almost all the chapters which are given to you, it would be better all the
Okay.
answers which are given and which are really you have either on the internet or in the books,
Hmm.
go through the answers and go to the objective of the chapters, that what are the objective of the chapters, then you
Okay.
will certainly obtain good marks, and be attentive that your answers should be also written very systematically without fault. Write your answers very simple, in a very simple way, very clear way, because clarity is needed. Whatever you want to express, there must be clarity. And if all these things are there, certainly will secure more than 90%, no doubt.
Okay,
So,
right.
my good wishes for the aspirants and the candidates for the class 10 board.
Thank you, Dr. Balendu ji from Gaya district of Bihar. Explained very nicely about the 10th syllabus, 10th board syllabus. And see, absolutely right. See, if you want to be achieve more marks, obviously you must much more go through the syllabus, try to complete your syllabus. Another important thing is that you attentively try to solve all the questions given. I am just giving the quote of Swami Vivekananda: get up and say to your soldier to the will, how long is the life for you? As you come in this world, leave some mark behind. Otherwise, where is the difference between you? Trees and a stone, they too come into existence, they can die. And exclusively for the aspirants, see, as Dr. Balendu ji already explained, 90% plus marks. Okay, so if you want to achieve 100%, always remember one thing, right? Get up and always try to aim at the sun, and you may not reach it, right? But your arrow will fly far higher than it aimed at an object on a level with yourself. So always try to achieve 90 plus, 95 plus, 98 plus, or 100. Even if some student will got 100 marks also. Okay, so
One thing, one thing, Secretary Saab.
जी
I'd like to mention that in concluding phase, you must speak a few minutes in Maghi so that they can.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
Yes.
जी 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 जी
Mhm.
थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर शिवेंद्र नारायण सिंह जी शिवेंद्र दा जो जे हथिन जानल मानल अपने के नालंदा नवादा हिसुआ भारत के जानल मानल साहित्यकार हथिन, गीतकार हथिन, अर्थशास्त्री हथिन और बराबर विश्व मगही परिषद के मजबूत स्तंभ के रूप में हथिन। हमनी के बीच में बालेंदु जी हथिन, जे बालुंदी जी भले इंग्लिश में पूरा टॉक दिलथिन, लेकिन हम बतावल चाहिए कि हमनी के बीच में हमनी के पुरोधा मगही विभूति जानल मानल साहित्यकार मगही कोकिल स्मृति शेष जयराम सिंह जी के ज्येष्ठ पुत्र हथिन और हम बतावल चाही कि उनकर बहुत बरगो ख्याति हलै और विश्व मगही परिषद हमरा लगा है कि 2-3 बार उनकर सम्मान में अपने के पुण्यतिथि जन्म तिथि भी मनैली है और अपने के हम वो भेजली भी है उनकर स्मृति सम्मान भी 15 साहित्यकार के याद में स्मृति सम्मान भी दिली है विश्व मगही परिषद। तो जे भी बच्चन सब देखी थी, अगर तू अच्छा नंबर लावल चाहा हो तो जे भी बालंदी जो बतलतू है ओकरा बढ़िया से खूब सुना और जे भी सगा संबंधी हवा दोस्त यार हवा ओकरा सबके भेज दहू ताकि लोग सब सुन के बढ़िया से तैयारी कर लेथिन। यह साथ हम एक बार सब लोग के कहल चाहिए, जय मगध, जय मगही, जय विश्व मगही परिषद, जय मगही पाठशाला। मगही पाठशाला जो है ये जन जन के पाठशाला है, ये सबके पाठशाला है, सब विषय के एक सम्मान अपने के मिलत। तो फिर हम चलते चलते सब लोग के एक बार फिर से आभार डॉक्टर बालेंदु जी के और डॉक्टर शिवेंद्र नारायण सिंह जी के समय देवेला और मगध न्यूज चैनल के टेक्निकल टीम के और विश्व मगही परिषद पूरा परिवार की तरफ से सब लोग के जे प्रत्यक्ष रूप से हूँ उनका हम बहुत बहुत आभार बधाई और जे अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से या जे आवे वाला समय में देखता थिन उनका भी हम अग्रिम बधाई दे कि हमने सबके शिक्षा के अलख ऐसे ही जगावेला है और शिक्षा कोई भी विषय के रूप में होवे, चाहे वो हिंदी के होलाई, संस्कृत के होलाई, मगही के तो अपने के 8 गो एपिसोड चल रही, अंग्रेजी के अपने के आज है। अब फिर हम गणित के भी लेबै, विज्ञान के लेबै, सामाजिक विज्ञान के लेबै और कोई कुछ होता ही तो अपने के मोटिवेशनल टिप्स वगैरह भी लावल जतई। विश्व मगही
जी
परिषद
जी
स्थापना
कल बालेंदु जी के बहुत उपयोगी टिप्स मिलते लड़का के जी बता दल जाए। कल लोग जोड़े
हाँ
बालेंदु बाबू के
बिल्कुल
बड़ी
बिल्कुल
बोले।
कल
हाँ
कल
बता
जे
दे।
ना छुड़लहु है ओकरा देख के कल 7 बजे जरूर आई हूँ। कल जे है अपने के 10वीं वाला भी थोड़ा बहुत टिप्स बतात थी और 12वीं के टिप्स बतात थी। और साथ में कल बहुत अपने के अभी है ये चैनल से अपने के एक आर्किटेक्चर एजुकेशन और आर्किटेक्चर प्रोफेशन के भी बढ़ावा देवेला कार्यक्रम है जी। जेकरा में अपने के वो कार्यक्रम 6 से 7 है, 7 से 8 अपने के अंग्रेजी वाला कार्यक्रम होता है। ओकरा में काउंसिल ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर के वाइस प्रेसिडेंट आर्किटेक्ट गजानंद राम जी, महाराष्ट्र के 2 आर्किटेक्ट रहता थी, फिर अपने के इथोपिया से आर्किटेक्ट रहता थी, नेपाल से रहता थी और दिल्ली से रहता थी, पंजाब से हम रह भाई। तो इस तरह से बहुत अच्छा कार्यक्रम कल 6 से 7 है। ओकर अभी सारा चीज अपने के जारी हो जाते। और जे भी विद्यार्थी के आओ कोई सजेशन चाहे कोई विषय पे तो टिप्स में लिखता थी, तो हम आवे वाला समय में ओकरा अपने के जरूर करवाई। मगही पाठशाला के यही उद्देश्य है कि जन जन में शिक्षा पहुंचे, साथ में हमर मगही भी पहुंचे। जय मगध, जय मगही। एक बार फिर से जय विश्व मगही परिषद। बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत आभार एक बार।